Because we're gonna play one right now.
Oh.
Go ahead, Paul.
And now, looking out for you. This is 11
I love
News
this.
at 6.
Extremists on both sides of the racial divide show their colors in a Texas town torn apart by a shocking murder. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Walker. Topping 11 News tonight, a protest by the Klan, a reaction from black Muslims, a town wishing both would just go away. We are again talking about the small town of Jasper, about an hour northeast of Houston. 11 News reporter J.D. Miles was there from the start, and he's back tonight with a protest.
So you went to school for journalism as well? Okay.
My God, you are hot.
This is some later
You are hot, but
2014. Perhaps even an F2 tornado that touched down about 2 o'clock this afternoon, was on the ground for about 3 minutes. And of course, no watches or warnings with all of this. No one knew that this was coming.
Yeah, and as Nick mentioned, 3 minutes doesn't sound like a long period of time, but when you're talking about this type of weather.
So when did the aspirations for porn come into play? Were you obviously? I'm assuming you were gay at this time, or were you closeted at that moment?
No, actually, I was out. My first TV job was in Bakersfield, California, 1997. And I didn't really realize that you couldn't be out in Bakersfield, California in 97. I rolled in there and I'm like, this is me, and I was already pretty much out. I said, I have a boyfriend when I came to the newsroom. And there was a certain amount of kind of just shock that someone would do that. As far as I know, I was the first out person on television there. And Dallas Fort Worth, when I transitioned there in 97, I was only the second ever openly gay person on air in 97. And the first one had died of AIDS in 1992. So it was still a big deal, and I really didn't realize it. I had my bio on one of the early websites for the station website. I would get these emails all these times from young guys, 14, 15 years old. I saw in the bio that you're a member of the National Gay Lesbian Journalists Association. And they would send me these really heartfelt things. You're the only person that I know who's gay who I can talk to. And that was a big responsibility. A couple times there was one that said, I'm 14 and I want you to be my first. However, I did say, message me right on that 18th birthday. And the story is, and I haven't really told this in public, but he did. He did a week before. And silly me, I'm not really thinking clearly, but I went up to his parents' house in conservative Plano. And yes, it happened. And then he says, you gotta get going. My parents are gonna be home in about 45 minutes. What do your parents do? They're attorneys. So it turned out all right. And believe it or not, all these years later, we're still friends. He's a very successful dentist in Houston, and we still keep up.
does he do your teeth for free?
No, but I have another dentist that does.
Oh,
in Dallas. Yeah.
And then your transition into the adult film industry, you were doing both at the same time?
No. That's
okay.
not. A lot of the articles when I first started doing movies, New York Post, London Daily Mail, all of them did a bunch of stories with varying accuracy. They kind of made up the story as they wanted it to be, and much more salacious than it actually was. It's actually a bit of a sad story, but there was actually 5 years between the time that I left television news and the time that I started porn. And basically, I had left television news and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next. And so I was bartending at the Dallas Eagle. I was having a great time and kind of contemplating the next move. My partner of 13 years at that point was VP of Creative for all of Mary Kay Cosmetics. He did the magazine, the web, the television commercials, all of that. And it was a very, very stressful job. And he had suffered from depression all of his life. And so there were 3 times that I came home and found that he had passed out from using ethyl chloride, maximum impact. It's like the popper spray. And the 4th time I came home, I had cleaned up at the bar, and it was 3 a.m. and I got home and he was in face down in our bedroom in blood and bum. And so my best friend 2 days later said, you're going to be homeless. You couldn't be married in 2015 or 2013 in Texas. There was no will. His parents came, took our cars, took our motorcycles, took some of our furniture, even some of the art off the walls, and took the house. And so he said, "You've always wanted to do porn. You don't think you're going back to television news. Why don't you apply with some major company?" So I applied with Colt and with Titan. And they both called me a week later, and I was making movies. So I was the second to the last Colt guy, by the way.
Is there some sort of,
Yeah.
is there some sort of audition process? So you apply, you fill out an application, or
Photos.
Yeah, guys ask me that all the time. Well, how do I get into porn? Well, it's like any other job. You have to go on to the website and apply and submit good photos. I mean, it's not as, I don't think the photos have to be as good as they used to be, but good photos are still impressive. And they said, well, do I have to show my penis? Yes, right? Do I have to be naked? Yes, we want to see everything. And in good light, not half dingy garage photos.
Well, when I was doing it, people would come over to my house and I would take Polaroid pictures of them. And some of the people that would show up to my house, oh my God. And I always thought that I should have made a coffee table book, so you want to do porn and use these Polaroids. But
Well, I actually have a handout because I get asked that at least twice a day on Twitter or Instagram. And so I actually have a handout made that I give to people, which to some extent, it's like a lot of people say that they want to do porn, but the reality is they're not willing to actually put themselves out there and submit the photos and go through the application process. They want to be discovered somehow, and it doesn't work that way anymore. You're not discovered.